Imagine witnessing something so extraordinary that it would challenge everything you know about reality. A man engulfed in celestial flames, lifted by an invisible force, disappearing before your eyes, leaving no body, leaving no trace. We're not talking about science fiction. We're talking about one of the most enigmatic events recorded in human history. Elijah, the prophet of fire, didn't die like ordinary mortals. He simply vanished in an explosion of divine glory. But here's the question that theologians, scholars, and skeptics have debated for millennia. Where did Elijah really go? Was it a literal ascension to heaven? Or was he transported to a hidden realm, a parallel dimension, right here on Earth? Stay until the end of this video, because the answers you'll discover might completely change your understanding of life, death, and what exists beyond the veil of our reality. Before we dive into Elijah's mysterious disappearance, we need to understand who this extraordinary man was. In the 9th century BC, in a time when Israel was plunged into idolatry and spiritual corruption, emerges Elijah, a prophet who feared no kings, feared no death, and performed miracles that defied the laws of nature. If you're enjoying this investigation, hit that like button now. Let's unravel this millennia-old mystery together, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos about history's most fascinating enigmas. Elijah multiplied food, raised the dead, called down fire from heaven, and shut the heavens for 3.5 years. But his greatest miracle would also be the most controversial: his own disappearance. Unlike all the prophets before and after him, Elijah didn't experience death as we know it. And this is where the story gets really intriguing. The account is recorded in 2 Kings chapter 2. Pay attention to the details because every word matters in this narrative. Elijah and his disciple Elisha are walking together. Elijah knows something extraordinary is about to happen. 3 times he tries to leave Elisha behind, but the young prophet refuses to abandon his master. They arrive at the Jordan River. In a gesture that echoes the miracle of the Red Sea, Elijah strikes the waters with his mantle, and they part, creating a dry path. The two cross to the other side. And then, the moment that would change everything. The biblical text is precise and disconcerting. Behold, a chariot of fire with horses of fire separated them from each other, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Observe the specific elements of this narrative. First, it wasn't a single phenomenon, but multiple ones: chariots and horses of fire, a celestial fleet if you prefer. Second, there was an eyewitness. Elisha saw everything happen before his eyes. He cried out, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen." Third, Elijah's body was never found. 50 men searched for 3 days. Nothing. He simply disappeared from the face of the earth. Wait, before we continue, tell me in the comments, do you believe in supernatural events, or can everything be explained by science? I want to know your opinion. And if you're finding this content fascinating, share it with that person who loves mysteries. Now we come to the heart of the matter. For centuries, 2 main interpretations have divided scholars, theologians, and researchers. Let's analyze both with depth and impartiality. Theory 1: Ascension to literal heaven. The traditional interpretation states that Elijah was taken directly into God's presence, to the celestial heaven, the spiritual domain where God dwells. Arguments in favor. Evidence 1: the language used. The Hebrew text uses the word shamayim, heavens. The same word is used in Genesis to describe God's dwelling place. Evidence 2: parallel with Enoch. Elijah wasn't the first. Enoch, centuries before, also was not found because God took him. Two men in the Bible who didn't experience conventional physical death. Evidence 3. The New Testament. Malachi prophesies Elijah's return before the great and terrible day of the Lord. In the New Testament, Elijah appears with Moses on the Mount of Transfiguration, conversing with Jesus. How could he appear if he were just somewhere on earth? Evidence 4. Elijah's translation. Elisha receives Elijah's mantle, literally his anointing and power, suggesting a definitive transfer, not a temporary one. But there's another interpretation that challenges all of this. Theory 2. Transport to a hidden earthly realm. This theory, more controversial but equally fascinating, proposes that Elijah didn't go to God's celestial heaven, but to a physical location, albeit hidden or dimensional, right here on earth. Arguments in favor. Evidence 1. Definition of heaven. The Hebrew word shemayim can mean three things: Earth's atmosphere, outer space, or God's spiritual domain. The text doesn't specify which heaven. Elijah could have been transported only to another region of Earth's atmosphere. Evidence 2. God's Spirit transports people. There are biblical precedents. The prophet Ezekiel was lifted and transported by the Spirit to other physical locations on earth. Philip, in the New Testament, was supernaturally transported from one city to another after baptizing the Ethiopian eunuch. And here is the most baffling argument of all. Years after his disappearance, King Jehoram of Judah receives a letter from Elijah. Then a letter came to him from Elijah the prophet. How does a man who supposedly is in celestial heaven send a physical letter to a king on earth? Defenders of this theory argue Elijah wasn't in God's heaven, but somewhere on earth, still alive, still active, just removed from public view. Evidence 4. The search by 50 men. Why would 50 strong men search for Elijah if they believed he had gone to God's heaven? They suspected that the Spirit of the Lord has taken him up and cast him on some mountain or into some valley, a physical, earthly location. Which theory makes more sense to you? Comment Theory 1 if you believe in literal celestial ascension, or Theory 2 if you think Elijah went to a hidden earthly realm. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're just beginning to unravel this mystery.
Regardless of which theory you accept, Elijah's disappearance carries profound implications that transcend historical curiosity. First implication: the possibility of transcending death. If Elijah didn't die, and the text is clear about this, then there's biblical precedent that physical death isn't absolutely inevitable for everyone. Enoch and Elijah establish that there's another path, a translation that bypasses the common process of mortality. Second implication: the multi-dimensional reality of reality. Whether celestial heaven or hidden earthly realm, Elijah's event confirms that our visible reality isn't all that exists. There are more layers, more dimensions, more realms beyond what our five senses can detect. Modern quantum physics speaks of multiple dimensions. Ancient theologians spoke of heavenly places. Perhaps both are describing the same truth with different vocabularies. Third implication: the human body can be transformed. If Elijah was taken bodily, and there's no evidence he died and only his soul ascended, then the physical human body can undergo a radical transformation that enables it to exist in other realms or dimensions. Paul in the New Testament speaks of a spiritual body and a transformation that will happen in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. Could Elijah be the prototype of this process? We also need to consider skeptical perspectives and alternative explanations. After all, an honest investigation examines all angles. Naturalistic explanation. Skeptics argue the event might have been a natural phenomenon misinterpreted by ancient observers.
A tornado, the mentioned whirlwind, combined with lightning, the fire, could have created a dramatic scene that was interpreted as supernatural. Problems with this theory: doesn't explain the complete disappearance of the body, doesn't explain the later letter, and requires rejecting Elisha's eyewitness testimony as completely mistaken. Mythological explanation: others suggest the account is a legend developed over time, not an actual historical event. Ancient cultures frequently had stories of heroes who didn't die but were taken by the gods. Problems: Elijah's account is integrated into verifiable historical narratives with specific names, places, and political context. It doesn't have the characteristics of pure myth. Advanced technological explanation: more speculative theories propose that chariots of fire could be an ancient description of advanced technology, perhaps extraterrestrial or from a lost civilization. Elijah would have been abducted, not ascended. Intriguing, but unlikely within the consistent theological context of the biblical narrative. We're reaching the conclusion, but first, is this video being helpful? Give it a like if you're enjoying this deep analysis. And look, we've prepared an amazing video about Enoch, the other man who didn't die. Click on the screen now to watch it later. Link in the description too. So where did Elijah really go? Literal heaven or earthly realm? The honest truth is, we can't be absolutely certain. We weren't there. We have no footage, no forensic analysis, only an ancient and revered account. But perhaps the most important question isn't where he went, but what his disappearance teaches us. Elijah shows us that the boundaries of reality we accept as absolute may not be as fixed as we imagine, that death and life, physical and spiritual, visible and invisible, may have much more permeable boundaries than our modern scientific mind admits. Whatever the truth, celestial ascension or earthly transport, one thing is undeniable: something extraordinary happened that day on the banks of the Jordan, something that defied natural laws as we know them, something that maintains its relevance and mystery thousands of years later. And who knows, if Elijah could transcend the common limits of human existence, perhaps there's a message of hope in that. Perhaps death isn't the definitive end it seems to be. Perhaps there's more, much more, waiting on the other side of the veil of our limited reality. The fiery chariot departed millennia ago, but the questions it left behind continue burning in our minds. And you, what's your theory? Literal heaven or earthly realm? Leave your opinion in the comments. If this video expanded your mind, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content like this. Next video, Elijah's prophesied return. Has he already come back? Until the next investigation.